What is the future of TikTok? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. TikTok was topic of my morning musings already a couple of times, and if you follow my morning musings every morning, you realize that the issue I raised some time ago, whether TikTok can be banned, was now up and for the decision. So a federal judge ruled on a Sunday, because of the emergency situation, that the TikTok ban issued by President Trump cannot be upheld. TikTok lawyers found a cute argument that TikTok equals a modern day city, it equals a modern day marketplace, it equals the meeting of the present, and therefore it equals free speech and cannot be banned. And the temporary blocking of TikTok would result in irreparable harm, as millions of users would go away to different platforms which are similar. And the United States argued, of course, that there's a security risk behind. This decision that TikTok is able to be used in the United States until further notice comes in a time when the TikTok takeover discussion by Oracle is in full steam. So in a way, this case may be moot after it's then ready for the decision. The takeaway, however, for companies is as follows. Even if you are subject to the United States government telling you not to do something, there is the great part of the United States, the independence of the legislative, the judicative, and the executive branches, so that when one branch says something, the other branch has an independent role. And this is, for me, pretty hopeful to see the independence of the court system to be exactly why the courts are there, to regulate the interests of humanity. Have you ever sold $74 billion worth of goods in one single day? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs, and if the answer is yes, then you must be Alibaba. Alibaba, the Chinese portal, known in China pretty much as the equivalent of what we have in the Western world as eBay, sold the record-breaking 500 billion yuan, which is $74 billion of goods, all in one day. All in one day because it was the Double 11, Alibaba's branded 11/11 Global Shopping Festival. In some parts of the world, it is known as Singles Day. I wonder whether this day was invented similar to Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving, just to have a feast before or after some other holiday. And right now, Singles Day is rocketing. Everybody is shopping. Alibaba competitors sold a lot as well. Pretty much half of what they sold was sold through Chinese platforms JD and Pinduoduo. However, the Chinese government realized that there is something happening. Now Beijing has proposed new guidelines to the influence on internet companies and realized that those internet companies are penetrating the services all over China. And therefore, the current draft of guidelines is now limiting internet platforms, internet practices, and they require certain exclusivities or changes from exclusivity behavior. Interesting now how in what seemed to be free capitalist market environment combined with a modernized communist approach, that now China is regulating a market in an overreaction. Sounds familiar? We have that in other parts of the world as well. What is a lemon? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And the question, what is a lemon, is known to everybody who drives a car or who ever had a lemon in a car. A lemon as in a broken car, a car which does not fit its purpose. But I could also ask the question the other way around. When does a car seller have a duty to disclose that the car is in an unfit condition? And this question was decided the other day in China, where Tesla was in trouble because they sold a used car where they did heavy welding and changing of the body of the car in order to hide a prior accident. So therefore now, because it was all a hide and seek approach, and the Tesla buyer who purchased the Model S in 2019 sued Tesla for the improper disclosure. At the end, under the Chinese law, the buyer is entitled to treble damages The damage is roughly $56,000, $58,000. So here it is. A Tesla owner is driving away with over $170,000 in local currency for failure to disclose. My takeaways: number one, don't do that. Number two, not only the American legal system comes to interesting results. And number three, inspection is always a good idea, and it doesn't matter what you buy. What is Chang-Seng 5? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And Chang-Seng 5 is translated from Mandarin into English as Long March 5, the name of a heavy lift launch vehicle developed by China in order to launch rockets into space. And another Long March 5 was just launched to put a space station module out in space. Over the next days, starting as early as tomorrow, the 7th of May, this piece may come back to Earth, which is the question, who is liable in case this piece hits somebody? At the last launch in the year 2020, one of those launch stages came back to an African village. Nobody got injured, or at least there are no injuries recorded, but a 20-meter, roundabout 60-yard long piece fell down and it could have injured somebody. So what happens? And that's a question of international space law. Since 1972, a Hague Convention of Liability for Objects Re-entering Space has a clear language. The country who launched the rocket is liable for the damage. Was it ever used? Yes, one time when a Soviet satellite dropped over Canada, leaving a radioactive mass because it was radioactive powered. So law is one part, but the enforcement the other part. So the question remains, will the international community speak up in case of any damage and go against China under the 1972 law? We will see.